G'day patrons, happy Saturday. Hope you're all well and staying safe in these challenging times. No more needs to be said about that. So sec, I'm going to give you a few Patreon only stories and then I'm going to get into the Monday show. So let's get into it straight away with some thoughts on BMW who have released this video.
Today we're launching an industry-first new technology in London and Birmingham. The new technology is called BMW eDrive Zones, and it allows our plug-in hybrid vehicles to automatically switch over to an electric driving mode within a designated zone. It works in combination with a geofencing type technology found within the navigation system. The vehicle, with its intelligent computers, will automatically store the energy that's needed so you can drive emission-free within these zones. At launch, the BMW eDrive Zones will be available on the new BMW 3 Series, 5 Series, 7 Series and X5 plug-in hybrid models. However, our aim is to roll it out onto a number of additional compatible models in the near future. At BMW, we believe that the plug-in hybrid vehicle helps to bridge a gap between the full combustion engine and the purely electric vehicle. With a plug-in hybrid vehicle, you get the best of both worlds. You have a battery to allow for emission-free driving around areas such as a city where it matters the most. Or you've then got a highly efficient petrol engine coupled with it for those longer journeys when you need them. We plan to roll this technology out to additional cities in the UK and Ireland. In addition, it's also available in a number of European cities this summer.
So what do you think? I've covered this previously on the show and I get that this is a band-aid solution for tackling emissions in cities and pollution and PM 2.5 and all that yucky stuff. But I just figure that, hey, instead of focusing their efforts on rolling this out to other vehicles, just make everything electric. I don't know. What do you think? Audi has teased in coming months that they will use 3 innovative concept cars to illustrate how the brand will have its design future for luxury cars. At the moment, the only thing they're sharing is this silhouette of a car and using a keyword, sphere, in the model names to emphasize all 3 designs, which focus on like new interior concepts and a holistic digital ecosystem for a world of experience. Yeah, definitely a bit of a marketing hype there. We'll know more about these cars very soon, with the first being unveiled sometime in August with the Audi Sphere concept as part of the Monterey Car Week in California. A few weeks later, the second concept car, the Audi Grand Sphere, will make its public premiere at the 2021 IAA. I think that's somewhere in Berlin from memory, somewhere like that. And then 2022 will be the first, the next iteration of it, called the Urban Sphere. So yeah, details are below if you want to have a full read of the press release. But yeah, I think this is actually quite a good summary, so don't bother. I was going to talk about Joe Biden's goal for half of all new US vehicle sales to be electric by 2030, but decided against it, as we have our own problems and frustrations in this country of ours, that I'm not about to spend my time and energy both applauding this move but also pointing out the obvious, that an ICE car ban is really needed by 2035 if we're to address and get to net zero emissions by 2050, or rather to combat the change in temperature, better said. So here's my high-level summary of his announcement, in that 50% of all new cars and trucks sold in the US by the end of this decade, so aka 2030, must be powered by electric batteries. Okay, the Environmental Protection Agency and US Department of Transport also unveiled new fuel efficiency standards. My braces are killing me today. For vehicles to bolster pollution rules that were weakened under Donald Trump's presidency, and that from 2023 new cars will be required to emit 10% less greenhouse gas emissions compared to the previous year, with a further reduction of 5% a year up to 2026. Great! Another measure that actually pushes car makers towards electrifying their fleets, and very much echoes and mirrors rather what Europe is doing with Euro 7 regulations. It's pushing manufacturers, car makers, to make battery electric vehicles. This is awesome. And again, I think this is something that American viewers have been seeing on the screens, and I believe the best video I've seen so far is Nikki from Transport Evolved. She presents the topic very well, educating and informing, and actually giving her take on why Tesla wasn't invited. I think we know why, and what it's going to mean. So yeah, look, I've left the link down below. Do go check it out. Okay, and then just one last little piece for you guys on Patreon, and that is that my review of the MG ZS is almost ready. What do I need? More B-roll. So I'm going to do that today, and so my gold and producer guys, you'll get that video tomorrow as one of your perks, and then for the rest of Patreon, I'll release that for you guys probably middle of the week. So let's now get into the actual public news show for Monday, and yeah, hope you have a great weekend. Here we go. On today's show, DHL readies itself to go electric in the skies. Dumb solutions for road transport. VW teases its next SUV, and a little bit more. G'day and welcome. If you enjoy this sort of content, consider subscribing, it's free. Or if you want to get early access to news, polls and behind the scenes and stuff you just don't get here, consider supporting me on Patreon, where you get all this and a lot more. And a big thank you to my producers, Adam Tyson, Alan Burnt, Ashley Hill, Chaotic Media Technology, MN ICT Specialist, Nigel Farrier and Tessa Nagong. First up, I'll let you in on a little secret of mine. It's a bit of a dirty one, so come closer. No. Closer. I like motorsports. But come on, it's exciting to watch, right? And what I really want to see is all forms of racing, Formula 1, Indy, MotoGP, Rally, all go electric. But I get it takes time, it takes development and little baby steps. But sometimes to get that tech to fans and get those guys and girls on board, we need to show them more electric vehicles doing the thing that they enjoy seeing. So here's some good news from BMW M GmbH. They're like a subsidiary of BMW AG, and they actually make those high performance versions of BMW cars. And they've gone and converted a BMW i4, the electric one coming out in November, into this safety car for the FIM Moto E World Cup. Replaces the BMW i8 safety car, which has previously led the field in electric motorcycle racing series. And the new safety car is based on the i4 M50 with souped up electric motors, generating a total output of 400 kilowatts or 544 horsepower. This is great and something racing fans will see more and more of. And you know what that means? People converting to the idea of going electric because if they see something like this and seeing them keeping up with those crazy fast bikes, I have no doubt that people will shift to electric cars sooner than later. A phrase you're probably hearing a lot more of is electrify everything. And so it's no surprise that DHL, who already has some electric vans in their fleet, are looking to do the same with their aircraft. Meet Alice. This fully electric e-cargo plane from Eviation is the first of 12 that DHL have on order. Alice can be flown by a single pilot and will carry 1200 kilogram payload with a maximum range of 815 kilometers or 414 nautical miles. The electric plane only requires 30 minutes or less of charge per flight, which is important as ground time is not making money time. I'm really excited for this and congratulate DHL in doing so, as their company plans to actually get them towards carbon net zero. Involves something like by 2030 doing some significant steps and spending a significant coin, but unfortunately they've put the plans out to 2050 to be absolute net carbon zero. But folks, we actually need this to happen by 2035 at the latest. So good job DHL, keep going mate. I really do appreciate you doing this, and it'll be exciting to hear, well not so much here because electric planes are actually a lot quieter compared to conventional jet turbines. Yeah, it'd be great to see this come out. I don't normally do editorials, but have you seen a story about how Siemens are trialling overhead power lines for trucks on European motorways? The idea that a portion of a truck's journey can be powered by electricity with minimal power loss when compared to, say, petrol or diesel versions. But come on, is it really necessary? European countries are small, well connected, have great charging infrastructure, and this solution seems like something that would have been good before the invention of lithium-ion batteries. It looks complex, resource intensive, and importantly, costly. A study estimates the cost of building power lines to cover 65% of the UK's lorry routes will be in the region of £20 billion. And you have to ask, who's going to pay for that? Users who drive along it? Most likely. But when battery electric vehicles are 85 to 90% efficient, we also need to remember that power lines and associated systems also have their losses up to 15% along their total journey. So why do this? Trucks will still need to have an engine or a motor and fuel source to get them to this power line system. In addition, you'll have to have more complex vehicles with a pantograph system to be able to connect up to that electricity. It just adds more costs to ultimately the business and the consumer, very unnecessary. And as we see battery technology and density improve, I can't understand, in the voice of John Oliver, why is this a thing? What do you think? One final story for today, but remember on Patreon they actually got to see 8 additional stories last week that you just don't get here. So if you want to support the channel from as little as $2.50 per month, consider joining me over here where you get news, polls, behind the scenes, and a lot more. VW has released more details of its upcoming SUV, the ID.5 GTX. Set to make its international debut on the 7th of September at the Munich Motor Show, this SUV, which sits atop the modular electric drive platform, I think looks elegant and a beefed up ID.4. Featuring dual motor 4-wheel drive and an unspecified large battery pack capable of moving this car almost 500 kilometers on one charge, it features the really cool IQ Light LED matrix headlights, which generate an intelligently controlled high beam and give the front of the car a very on-brand VW look. I hope the VW's ID.5 SUV will have some punchy performance given it's carrying the GTX abbreviation. Out in Europe next year, and Australia who knows when. Yeah, they said that. Again, this looks like a compelling car that I think will do really well down under. And VW, if you're watching, can you just bring it out? ID.3, ID.4, and this one, perfect. Thanks very much. Okay, well that brings us to the end of another episode. I do hope you've enjoyed it. Rather a short, sweet one, but wasn't a lot going on this week, so yeah, keep it to the point, I say. If you have enjoyed this, please do consider subscribing. It's absolutely free. Turn on notifications, leave me a comment. I do look at them, I really do. And if you, again, want to see more content like this, join us on Patreon. Otherwise, please, you be good and you be green.